Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the award-winning recovery podcast, Get in the Herd, brought to you by the McShin Recovery Resource Foundation. Today is Wednesday, September 8th. I have no sound in my ears. Can you hear? Can you hear?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. All
You
right.
can't
Oh
hear
well, I can hear
me.
myself better now. Cool.
I
Hey,
can't hear
so we're
me.
we're getting used to some new technology here, so we're playing around with some stuff. So forgive me for that. But hey, today we got an awesome treat for you. Today we got somebody special here as our guest. We have Jimmy Brooks in with us today. Now Jimmy is running for delegate in the 74th district. However, and this is the cool part, Jimmy Brooks is a former board chair of the McShin Foundation. So welcome to the show, Jimmy. It's good to see you, man. I love your energy. I love you being here today. Good to see you. Tell me what's going on.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Um, like you said, I was former board member of McShin. I'm a person in long-term recovery. I'm a recovering addict. I'm coming up on 36 years clean. I live in Sandston, Virginia. This district, or the other district, this is in a separate district. I am running for House of Delegates from the 74th district. My goals is to get these veterans out of tents, uh, in affordable housing. We do affordable housing for everybody. Why can't we do this for the vets? Work with the recovery community, make it easier for an addict that calls up and needs some help to get the doors open for them. My job is going to be to grease these hinges. We're going to get the way we want to get the funds for this is we're going to cut out some of this wasteful spending in this state, in our community. I'm all for the small businessman. I don't care too much for taking corporate dollars. I won't be bought by the corporations if that kills my campaign. So I'm just letting you know that that's what I'm about.
I love that, Jimmy. And I love that you're coming in here as a person in recovery, giving back. Did you say 36 years?
I have 36 years, September the 17th, which is next Friday when the voting in our state starts.
Nice plug there, right?
Yes.
September 17th, next Friday, when the voting starts. It's also Jimmy Brooks' 36th recovery anniversary date. So, how do you do that? I know I want to talk to you, of course, about the campaign, but I always, whenever I have an opportunity to be in a room with an old timer, and I don't know if you like that term or
Yeah.
not. You like that term?
That predecessor.
All right, predecessor. There we go. I always want to try and figure out how on earth do you do that? How do you get to 36 years without using drugs and alcohol?
When I walked into that treatment center out in Goochland, uh, end of April of 1985, I had no clue what recovery was. I didn't know what addiction was. I just somebody that just wanted to stop killing myself. I wanted some kind of future, and the way I was feeling at the time, the only future I had was suicide, and I just wanted that pain and that hurt to go away that I experienced from a childhood. And they taught me about recovery and introduced me to a 12-step program that I still go to. And in that program, they taught me that you can stop using just for a 24-hour period. Just don't use today. And that was a dream of mine. What it would be like to get up one day and just not put anything in my body. And that one day became months, and that months became years. And I still live by that. I won't use today no matter what. And whatever it takes, picking up the phone, going to a meeting, getting involved in service, pray. When I first came into recovery, I had no idea. I was brought up in a Southern Baptist church, but I never felt connected. And when I came into recovery, they told me just to say please in the morning and thank you at night. Mm-hmm. And I still do that today. If I stay clean today, then I'll say thank you for keeping me clean today. And just everything they taught me, I still live it today. Just you can't keep it unless you give it away.
I love that.
The simple stuff.
The simple stuff. And an old timer, or I'm sorry, one of my predecessors taught me that if I don't leave the basics, I don't have to go back to the basics.
That's correct.
And I like what you said, the please and the thank you thing. That's part of my daily recovery journey as well. You're now, in a campaign for the 74th district. You're the Republican nominee. and you've got this, this campaign. You talked about small businesses, and I love, what I love and what I've discovered in recovery is how resourceful I was in my using can be harnessed and turned into resourcefulness into my giving back or being a productive member of society. We talk about responsible, acceptable, responsible, productive member of that
Yes.
society. And so, when I think of small businesses, I think of all the people that I've met through recovery, through the McShin Foundation, who have turned their lives around and then started those small businesses and some really, really amazing creative projects, who constantly come back and pick up the next person, the new person in recovery, the newcomer, and take them and say, all right, you know what? Let's see how you do. You want some recovery, you need a little money, you want something to do, a little purpose, come on, help me lay these tile, help me do this lawn work, what got you to this point 36 years in your recovery where it was time for you to run for office?
For years I worked in a cigarette factory, and when I got laid off, I went back to school and I got a degree in horticulture. And as I learned the trade and started my own business, I would come to the recovery houses and hire people to work with me each day. As it turned out, it was good, and I was able to further my career. I worked for some of the biggest properties in the Richmond area. At one time, I worked for Larry Brown, who owned Brown Distributing, taking care of his $4 million mansion over on Cary Street. And I learned more and more about the trade. And then at the end of my work career, I worked for Goodwill, where I saw the work that they did in their stores and going around all the communities. And I learned more about people and helping people while I was at Goodwill. And then I retired, and I just, something I felt like doing, I was asked to run on a Republican ticket. When I go up and I knock on these doors in the different neighborhoods like Highland Springs and Elko and 9 Mile Road and Chamberlain Farms, when I knock on the door, I tell them who I am, and I don't put politics into it. I tell them I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I'm out here in the community knocking on doors, and I want to make some changes. I saw what happened in the last year and a half, and the businesses shut down, and churches being shut down, and it's not what we are here for. We're here to work for the community. I tell people when I'm knocking on these doors, said, I'm here working for you. I don't work for corporations. I want to give back to the community. And that's what I learned being a recovering addict in recovery. Give it back. They tell me you can't keep it unless you give it away. So I'm going in these communities and I'm telling the people that I want your vote. And I asked them, have you ever met your opponent, my opponent? And they said, no. I said, I'll tell you what, next year after I win, I'm going to come back and I'm going to shake your hand and say, thank you for voting for me. And they believe it. And that's what I am. I don't say I'm going to do something, and then when I get there, no, I'm not going to do it. No, that's not what I'm about. My daddy taught me how to work hard. My daddy used to hitchhike from Lynchburg to Richmond with his brother on Sundays to work at DuPont, then hitchhike back to Lynchburg on Fridays till he made enough money to bring their families down here to Richmond. Wow. And that taught me. And my dad used to go across the street to our neighbor and take him to the VA hospital so he could get his treatments. And that's, my dad taught me work and give it back. And that's what I do. And that's what I'm about.
So you have a history of being in the Army.
Yes.
And you left the Army, you went and worked for the cigarette factory, got laid off, and then instead of curling up and using like some people might do, you ended up going back to school.
I went back to school.
And I didn't know this about you. You got a horticultural degree, and I love that about you because there's a little horticulturalist somewhere inside Nathan that maybe somewhere in the multiverse. I said that yesterday. The same thing there too, because I love being outside with plants and growing things and seeing how that can happen. So you took the I don't want to failure is not the right word, but you took I
took the lemon.
Yeah, you took the lemon and you made the lemonade. I like that. That's exactly right. Right. You made the lemonade instead of just taking that lemon and throwing it at somebody else, right? And took that and ran with it. And I think that's really amazing. So as the candidate, in the 74th district. And so I also like what you said about, going up and knocking on doors and not putting the politics into it. So often I hear divisions of I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I said, I'm Nathan. I vote purple. And I tend to vote a certain, bunch of issues. But I also, I'm a person to person guy. And I know you, and I like you. I do like you. I don't vote in your district though. So, but and it's an issue I'm having with my current delegate. As a matter of fact, she never seems to respond to anything I send to her, and I'm like, well, as it turns out, I can vote for other people.
Right.
But with that in mind, there's a couple people up here. Chip Wigginton says vote purple. All right. One day at a time, dude. Go Navy, beat Army. Oh,
Not
man.
happening. Look at the last ball score. Hello.
Well, Doug, my dad's retired Navy, so he's looking at that saying, yeah, that's right. And of course, Johnny Fab says National Recovery Month in full effect. Johnny Fab, you might have met Johnny Fab here at some point. He comes down from Pennsylvania to share his experience, strength, and hope with us. Plus, he's just a goofball on Facebook, doing some amazing things. But he's taken a challenge. September's Recovery Month. He's taken a challenge to do. Cricket's watching. Love you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Cricket.
Thanks for all you do, Johnny. He comes down. He's taking a challenge for September to do a post about what recovery is. Recovering out loud every day of the month. So you're really living it though. You're recovering out loud. You're doing the thing. My question is, how on earth did you get involved with the McShin Foundation? Because you were 17 years into your sobriety, or
yeah,
18.
I've known John ever since I got it out of when I was in the treatment center, and I used to come into town when I lived there. Chesterfield off of Jeff Davis, and at one time John was my sponsor, and I would go. John had a little office over here off of right over here in Scott's Addition, and I would go by there and hang out and just talk. And then as things progressed, he got bigger and started the McShin Foundation, and I would come by here and sit in on the board meetings, and became a board member. And then when they started being a board member, I got nominated to be chairman, and stayed involved until a few years ago, and stepped away from the board, and still come by here. I used to love come by here on Wednesday evenings and eat dinner at the church and stay for the family meeting. I loved it. I wish the church would start cooking again.
We're supposed to get that back in October.
Yes.
Yeah, I've missed that too. That's one of the casualties of the pandemic that's really hit me, and I know it's affected the relationship that we've had with Hatcher and the congregation here. But hopefully that'll bring some of that connectivity back with the community so that we can reestablish that. But
my campaign manager Cheryl McMillan says I should study these talking points, and and I tell her I am who I am. This is who I am. This is who's running. I'm not a polished politician. I don't want to be a politician. I told somebody the other day when I was walking the streets, when I say I walk in the streets, not as a street walker, but a door knocker. And I said, I was at the parade. I was handing out some brochures at Sandston Parade. And I said, one and done. I'm not a career politician. So
Jimmy,
I get elected, I get what I need to do, and I'm gone.
Whenever I hear anybody talk about talking points, I immediately stop listening. I'm just like, just tell me who you are and what you're all about.
Oh, you got to tell these statistics and yada. That's your job. You put that out there.
Well, now wait. Am I correct did I hear you correctly? One and done, meaning you
one term. It's a 2-year term. I'll be 74, 75 years old.
Okay.
73.
Okay.
I'm not jumping the gun.
Wait, so all right, so that's actually a pretty big gauntlet to throw down. I didn't know that about you. So what do you hope to accomplish in 2 years?
Whatever I can do to get these veterans off the streets and get the recovery community and stop some of this waste. They always want to raise the gasoline taxes. It's not a luxury. We need gasoline to go to work and the grocery store and to the doctors. Parents, let the parents have a choice on where the kids go to school, not where the teachers unions want to send them to. And I want my grandkids to grow up and learn how to think, not what to think. School choice. So many things that can get done. Stop this waste. Why does it take 10 people to do the job of 5 people? Get the money out here to the recovering community a lot quicker. And more so, look at all these addicts. They're out there in the streets. You go to any of these places and the addicts are everywhere in their homes and all. Let them have, when they pick up that phone, no, you got to wait 2 weeks, 6 months. No, let them come in and get the help today, within a couple of hours. When I was learned in recovery, doing a 12-step call, and that's when if somebody calls up, you got a couple people will go to these people's houses and tell them and share our experience, strength, and hope. And 9 times out of 10, it clicks with that person. It clicks with that family. And they'll take that family member and they'll take them into a recovery place. And that's what I will push for. That can be done in 2 years. But we got to cut out some of this waste. The man that made my videos, richmondvideo.com, when he found out I was running, he said, I'll make all the videos you want. And he's done that. And he's done an excellent job. People in the community want to see a change, and they're stepping up to make these changes. And that's what we need. We need to make some changes. We're getting ready. I truly believe we're getting ready to do another shutdown. It's not just the schools, but the businesses, and start doing this mandating. And it's not right. Churches have to shut down and sit in the parking lot and have their church service. But yet, we had hundreds and hundreds of people walking down the streets of Richmond protesting, and there was no mandate there. Why is that? No, it's not right. We want the people to take back to their state and their country. And that's what I'm pushing for. That's what I get fired up about.
So we were talking before the show. We talked about your greenhouse, and we talked about doing your lawn. What is your I know, and I guess everybody out here probably knows, and of course, that the House of Delegates is a part-time gig. Although you wouldn't know it by looking at this year, man. They were 2 special sessions that just seem to go on and on and on. My question for you is, what are you doing when you're not at the House of Delegates, when you're not out there making laws? What would you be doing?
Well, I go around the people call me up and say, do you want this refrigerator? Do you want this stove or appliances? And I strip them and I take them to the scrapyard so they don't get taken to the landfills. Now, we got enough trash in the landfills. This metal can be recycled and used again and again and again. And that's what I do. And during the summertime, I have a couple lawns that I take care of and take care of their house. We have 7 acres. And I get out there, and I had a midlife crisis when I was 70 years old. I bought a 4-wheeler. And I ride it through the woods back there. And
oh, wait, a midnight crisis at 70.
Yeah.
I mean, a midlife crisis at 70.
My children and my wife said I couldn't get a Harley, so
So you got a 4-wheeler?
Unbeknownst to her, oh, by the way, look at her in the garage. I got me a 4-wheeler.
So what I'm hearing from that is, just because we're in recovery doesn't mean we're fully cured.
Oh no, we still have our moments.
Yeah.
But in my recovery, I love softball. I came into recovery playing softball, and I would put a team together, and I would get people in recovery, and we'd put a league together in Chesterfield. We'd play in league ball every week, and it gave them people new coming into recovery something to do. It's more than just going to meetings. It's getting out there and doing the stuff that we love. One of the girls at my home group, she's a cancer survivor, and back in the early days, they would just load up the car and go to dances and cookouts, and we had fun, and that's what we need to keep on doing, to show the people coming in recovery that we can do this, and we can live clean, and we can be happy, joyous, and free, as John used to say every time you saw him. Happy, joyous, and free. And that's what we need. We need to show them it's a different way out here, but we've got to reach them first.
Am I hearing now? I might be putting words in your mouth, but am I hearing that if you win election, you're going to open up your 7 acres to bring people over to play with your four-wheeler?
They bring their own 4-wheeler. They can get on my baby.
I might be there.
I mean, anytime anybody wants to come out, it's awesome. I even made a trail around the circumference of the property there.
No kidding.
And it's a couple of 100 acres out behind me. As trails been made out there, and you just get out there and ride from one end to the other and just open it up. I said, how fast you go on that thing? I said, you don't want to know. Have you got a helmet? I don't need a helmet. I ain't gonna fall off. You want me to get a helmet? Buy me one for Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah. I go.
Four-wheelers are super quick. I used to ride them all the time when I was a kid, man.
I love it.
I love it too.
No helmets, nothing like that. Just
man, if you're wearing a helmet, you're not doing the right thing. I should probably not say that.
Gear,
Jimmy, though, there's something that you didn't say when I was just asking about what you would be doing if when you weren't out there, the General Assembly making laws. And there's something that you do naturally. And I'm going to say it's probably part of your recovery, but it's also something you just do naturally. And you just show up all the time. And I love that about you. It's like when I see you, you come in and you're ready to share your recovery with the next person, and you come in down here, you bring, you brought a couple t-shirts the other day, stuff like that. You just come in, you do the thing. And it's like, you are one of the people I look at. I'm like, okay, if that's what long-term recovery is, then that's okay. I like that. And I'm serious, man. Like there are some people I look at and I'm like, you got 25 years. I don't want anything you got, but I look at you and I'm like, he's got almost 36 years. I'm like, I'd be happy like that. I would be happy like that. If I could have a midlife crisis at 70 and buy a 4-wheeler, and tear up my yard, and have a beautiful wife too, by the way, and kids and the grandkids, man, I wouldn't want a beautiful wife. We all know that, but the same thing.
Yeah.
And I like that about you, man. We talk about, 12-step programs as a program of attraction, not promotion. And like, I look at you and you are the attraction. And maybe that sounds funny, but you see what I'm saying, man. And that's why, like, I like you. I know you're genuine. Like, I know, you've got. I'm not going to agree with you on some things. I know that, but there's not many people I do agree with everything,
Right.
But I know where your heart is, and that's what I love about you, is that you keep showing up, you keep spreading that message of hope that recovery is possible, and you demonstrate it all the time. So that's beautiful. And I hope you continue to come down here.
Well, I do. And when I used to do groups here, I would meet so many people, and they would come in and they would stay around for a few years. And some of them are still playing today.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, one of them just left from here about a week or so ago. And I was sitting right in there when she came into recovery. And she came in the group one day and she said, I'm leaving this place. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And I said, please just give it the rest of the day. Don't go. If you feel the same way, leave tomorrow, but just stay here today. And she stayed here. And now she's got 2 beautiful children and a loving husband. And she just moved on to another part for her journey. And it fills my heart to see these people in. And the ones that don't make it, little Katie, she breaks my heart every time I think about her. And every time I go to a restaurant down in West Palm Beach, I go to the restaurant because that's the last place that I saw her when I was down there years ago. And it hurts when these people, go back out and don't make it back in here. And I miss doing groups here. And one of the things I hope to get back in is doing a group. And people used to say, what are we talking about? We're talking about movies and rock concerts. And somebody said, what's that got to do with recovery? And Jordan Sachs said, bless his heart, he said, well, the last hour you didn't think about using, did you? Oh, I'm orthodox. I'm unorthodox. I just come in and that's who I am.
Yeah.
Some people said you need to tone it down. And well, I ain't toned it down in 36 years. I don't know why I should do it now.
Well, we call it, authentic peer to peer. And I think some authenticity up there at the General Assembly is certainly worthwhile. You were here. You were board chair when I first got here, and you've been around for a long time. So you've seen like our chief executive officer. She's alumni, and she's been here I think 14 years now, something like that. You've seen her
come into recovery.
That's awesome to me.
Watch Jesse come into recovery.
Did you know Jesse before?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Jesse used to be a GSR for the Saturday night meeting. Dude, look at the size of this gorilla.
He doesn't watch the show, so we'll have to.
I can say anything I want now, Jesse. You ain't gonna hear it.
But Honesty listens though. She watches all the time. Yeah.
God.
But
I love it. I just love Honesty. I just love her. Hard headed, mean as a rattlesnake. Love her.
Oof, but you need to be mean as a rattlesnake sometimes. I fought really, really hard to get what I needed, what I thought I needed when I was using. It's like I'm not gonna that tenacity serves me well in recovery.
Right.
When I'm focused on the right things. That tenacity, if I'm going after stupid stuff,
right.
or if I'm still demonstrating, all the bad behaviors, well. But recovery teaches me that I have an opportunity one day at a time to change who I am and work on myself. Doug says congratulations on 36 years. I think we saw that one already. Love you, Jimmy.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
We don't front.
Yeah, I went to an 11 o'clock p.m. meeting once the day before and I was not going to pick up. I thought about it, but I'm like, no. Between that 10 minutes there, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to jinx it. Not going to jinx it. I think that was for my first or my second anniversary. But so, Jimmy, you said one and done, and I know that you've got 2 kids, 3 kids?
I have 2 children.
2 children. And how many grandkids?
With Sally, we have about, let me see, he's got 1, 2, 5, 1 on the way.
All right. Oh, 1 on the way. How? What's the age range?
Maggie just started kindergarten. So did Callie. So that's 5 years old. Down to Lucy just turned 2, and the 1 on the way will be November.
Oh, that's cool. Not in time to vote though.
Nope.
No.
We got to get this COVID stuff cleared up so we can get back on a jet and fly down there.
Yeah.
I'm not driving. We're too old to drive. I tried driving a couple of years ago. Oh my God. I made a U-turn in front of a police officer down at St. Augustine. He didn't care too much for that. So you got to find somewhere to sleep. You can't keep driving like this. Thank you, Bud.
Thank you, Bart. I've driven from Maine all the way down to Naples, Florida. And that last little bit in that from Georgia's okay, but once you get into Florida and you go through Central Florida,
you got another 1,200 miles to go.
It seems forever.
Yeah,
and it is probably it's the worst part of the drive in my mind. And I love Florida, man. The coasts are gorgeous, but that Central Florida, and you have to go through Central Florida to get home. And I've driven up and down it a few times, but that last leg or that first leg, whatever way I'm going is the most miserable part of that. I do prefer to fly down. I haven't been down there in a while.
Oh man, you owe it to yourself.
I do actually. But you know what? Well, shoot, maybe in November or December. When the hurricane season's over. Plus, the weather down there is gorgeous.
Yes.
Then. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Are you going to fund my trip?
I have to check and see if I won the lottery Tuesday night.
If you win the lottery, are you still going to run?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I could be able to buy my seat then, so like all the rest of them. Not happening.
Not happening. No. That's what I like about you, man. It's like what you see is what you get with Jimmy. So what else is going on with you? Tell me about your grandkids. What do they love to do? They love where you pop?
Oh yeah. They call me Grandpa.
Grandpa?
Because that's what I called my grandparents. I never knew my grandfathers. They passed away before I was born. But my grandmother and granny, Just like they light me up. I saw my two grandkids over here in the West End Friday when I dropped the four-wheeler off at my son's house, and they just run up and jump, and we play, and we have a good time.
Yeah.
And we go down to Florida. We keep the grandchild down there, and she runs through the water puddles, and we have a blast. It's awesome. I love them.
Man. My sister moved from Texas in the I guess in March, I think, and moved here to Central Virginia. She lives. She's the one I was telling you might be in your district. I'm not sure. I think she is in your district, but she's right up here in Glen Allen, and she and her husband and her 3 kids, and Justin's actually met them too. But they have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old. He just turned 16. 2-year-old, 5-year-old, and 16-year-old. And the 16-year-old's cool actually, but the 2-year-old and the 5-year-old, man, I love going. I can't go over there right now. We because of the Delta thing,
Right.
but they I go over there and I'll leave on a Friday night full from the meal that they cook. Playing Mario
Right.
Kart.
Yeah.
And then I'm covered in dog hair and kids are always sticky, just covered. And it's like that, like I go home and I'm like,
world.
it's so happy. I'm so happy,
Yeah.
And I'm 45. It's not likely I'm not likely to have any kids.
I was 45 when Morgan was born.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, I sure was.
Wow. Oh yeah,
I was a late bloomer.
You a late bloomer? Well, unless I adopt or somehow stumble onto a child somewhere, it's unlikely that
there's so many children out there that need a good, happy, healthy home, and adoption. I was having a conversation. I won't get into it because that's one of the touchy subjects now. But so many kids out there that in orphanages and adoption should always be an option there. I mean, kids are beautiful. They just want some love. That's all. They just want to be loved and be safe. The kids in the schools, that's one of the things I go for is protect our kids. They get on that bus, that parent wants to make sure that kid is safe till they get off that bus and come home. And you got these predators and sex traffickers going through neighborhoods and all. And we're going to lock these people up, get them off the street. And protect these kids in the schools and make them safe. You got a police officer in the school. He's there for a purpose, to keep our kids safe. You can't have a gun in the school. We'll give them a baton and see how that works out when somebody comes in there as an active shooter. No, we want to back the police officers, If we had bad officers, we weed them out. We get them out of here. Cops, they have a job to do. So many police officers in this community in the area are quitting because they're afraid of doing their job. They're afraid to get sued with these laws they're trying to pass. Oh my God! And what I'm like, I saw something the other day. The state of Virginia wants to pass a law, and it's in the Senate and the House. They want to make sure, or you can have as many wives as you want. What? What is the country moving to? No, we need to bring some common sense laws back to our state. And that's what I'm running on. Supporting the Constitution and bring some common sense back into the General Assembly. Because they're just running amok down there.
Hmm. So your platform, and you talked about this earlier, and I think this has certainly been an issue that resonates with me personally because of my family. But getting veterans housed properly.
Yes.
And that's always, it always ties back to services that are unmet for veterans returning back, PTSD and the addiction crisis of the surge, for returning vets who haven't handled that. And so, what are we doing? What can we continue to do? Because, look at the VA, man. I support it in theory, obviously, but it just doesn't seem to be doing the job.
Right.
How do we get the private partner, the private public partnerships, put together so that, we are giving these people the support they need?
Well, we have to get out there and make sure that these people a few years ago, VA came up with a program where if we couldn't get into the VA hospital, we could go to an outside doctor. Well, I was going to a dermatologist up here off of Richmond Memorial, and I made it my second appointment like 6 months later, and I went there. He said, "Well, we can't see you." I said, "Well, why not?" He said, "The VA hasn't paid us from your first visit. We need to eliminate this. If you and we say we're going to help these guys, do it. Just don't talk about it. Do it. You know, these doors, we got so much." Oh, it really pissed me off. They passed something that gives the VA or a veteran, if you're 100% disabled, you get certain percentage off your license plate. What? You have to be 100% disabled to get a percentage off purchasing your license plate decal. Why not give them the damn decal? They served. Why you got to be 100? All veterans should be able to get that freebie. What's it going to cost? With the 10 people that's saying, well, this is what we need to do? No, 5 of you are going to go work in the private sector because we're going to lay you off. And if 5 people that's still there, you're going to step up, and instead of taking 2-hour lunch breaks, you're going to take the amount of time and you're going to do your job. Cut the waste, and we'll have the funds to get these veterans what we owe them. And not just that, the mental health. Veterans are coming back boatloads from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're dying. They're killing themselves because when we come back, the things that they saw doesn't go away. You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and you have these images of you're firing your weapon and a woman holding her kid, and he's got this Taliban behind him with a gun to the head. And what are you going to do? You're going to let him shoot you? You're going to fire at this people. And if you hit this woman, hit this child, they have these images and they don't go away. You know, we got to have these mental health places where they can go in and talk to this stuff and go out in the streets and get them. Go into these vets' homes and say, hey, come on with me just for an hour and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, when I got out of the Army and I was clean, early in recovery, I was watching this show on PBS, and these non-vets were coming home and they hadn't talked about this stuff ever since they got home, and they were on this show and they were talking about it. And the memories and the guilt that I felt, it nearly took me out. And I called my sponsor, and I was taught to use the phone, call somebody, and I had my phone book. We had phone books back then, old school. And I had my hand on another number ready to call the next number if he didn't call. And I talked to him. And that morning when I got off a graveyard, I put on a pair of cutoff jeans, and I was going to go lay at the pool at Pocahontas. Well, when I got off the phone with my sponsor, I went out to Pocahontas, and I saw this big sign right there at the entrance to the pool, no cutoff jeans. I said, this is all I need. So I left. And when I was leaving, I turned out to the lake, and they were renting canoes. I rented a canoe, and I had one of the most beautiful spiritual days of my life. And I didn't use that day, and it all passed. That morning, when I got off work and put those cutoff jeans on, the God of my understanding knew what I was going to go through and led me to where I needed to go. Mm-hmm. That was a spiritual awakening. You know, I reached out and I told people what I was feeling. I had survivor's guilt when I got out of the Army, because I didn't go to Nam, and all the people that I know went over there and came back, some disfigured, some up in their heads. And I had a lot of survivor guilt, and I was able to work through it through recovery.
Yeah. So do you stay connected to your sponsor now? Do you stay connected
yes,
to
I stay. My sponsor lives in Jacksonville, Florida, and I call him.
Not John anymore, though.
No, not John. John hadn't been John for years. I tell you what, one story about 5-6 years in recovery, I remarried and it didn't work out. And I had my house and she was living there, and I let her stay there till she found a place for her and her daughter. And I came home one Saturday evening, and all that was left in the house was a pile of dirt where she had swept up in the middle of the living room. And I was ripped apart. And I called John, and bless his heart, he came over and got me, and I stayed the night at his house. And it was right after, it wasn't long after Mary Page. Mary Page was just a little girl then. And I spent the night, and John reached out and held me together till I was able to hold myself again.
Mm.
Like they tell me in recovery, let us love you till you can love yourself. And that's the message we need to take to these addicts.
Yeah. We know what that story that you just told about John, I hear that variations on that story, by so many other people about John and other old timers that I come across. But like, I hear that story over and over again. And that resonates with the story that my grandmother, I was talking about my grandmother a few minutes ago. Now she turned 96 in July, and her husband, my grandfather, passed away about a month before I got clean. So I wasn't around, and I love my grandfather. He was Navy back in World War II. He wasn't exactly the lucky. Well, he maybe, I don't know, lucky, not lucky. He has the distinction of having been sunk by a German U-boat in the Atlantic, but also hit by kamikaze in the Pacific.
Yeah.
So but my grandfather, he was born in Honolulu. And his father was from Minnesota. His mother was from England, but he grew up in London and Buenos Aires. He didn't come to the United States until he was 16, and he was American, but he was in Buenos Aires at the time, and the war was about to start, and he told his parents he wanted to join the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
At 16.
Yeah.
And they said to him, if you can get yourself to San Diego, we'll support you. I think he signed. I think he would be 17 when he got there. I don't. There's something about that I'm missing, but he was around that age, right? So he either needed their permission or he was going to do it illegally and fake his age. But he did that. He, at 16, 17 years old, he went from Buenos Aires to San Diego in the 40s, in the early 40s, and made his way and joined the Navy and went from there. And I think about that as the persistence, that he's an adventurous guy, but I knew him as a really calm guy. He was always real even keeled, mellow guy, and he was he's the kind of guy that I would like to be. And so I say all this. So I wasn't around when he died, but my grandmother, and we've made our amends, since then. And I love her to death. She's an amazing woman, has had an amazing life. And, I learned a lot from her. And I was talking to her a couple months, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so. And we're talking about, her transition from living on her own to now living in assisted living. And, she's very open about what she's going through. And I love that about her too. Right. And she was sharing that, I want to be, her name is Marge. And she's like, I want to be the kind of person who, when people look at me, they say, or when I walk by, it's like, oh, hey, there goes that Marge.
Yeah.
Instead of being the person that says, that when they say, hey, there goes that Marge.
Yeah.
And, she said it just like that. And I that really, really resonates with me because I get everything about her in that statement. And that's who she is, and that's the example I have. And I'm grateful, really, really grateful that I have these really powerful examples of service and generosity and gratitude in my life from my early, life, because these are the types of people I gravitate towards now in my, I'm only 3.5 years into my recovery. I consider myself a newcomer still, and I'm still gravitating towards those people because I know that that's where I find my fulfillment, my acceptance, my love, my happiness, my that's where my people are. And so like people like you, people like John, people like John and Carol, like honesty, not even Jesse. I mean, but Jesse's a standoffish guy, but when you get to know Jesse, that guy will go to he'll go to hell for you. And I know that about Jesse, but these people in my life that I just naturally gravitate towards. And I think that has been an amazing blessing in my personal, my recovery, because, it's easier when I have these examples of what life can be like, to go after what life can be like instead of continuing to go like what it
Right.
was when I was using. So all that to say, it just whatever you just said just resonated with me, Jimmy. I'm a rambler.
Yeah, my dad was 17 when he went into the Navy. He went down here, had a basic training at Camp Perry and next to Williamsburg, and he was on a repair ship. So your grandfather might have passed my dad
Oh yeah,
in South Pacific.
maybe.
Yeah, my dad had PTSD. You know, he'd wake up and the slightest thing, he would jump out to sea. But tell me this: what does love you to death mean? So after somebody dies, you don't love them no more? What? I never could understand that. I spent 2 hours at Philip Morris one night talking about these sayings. That's goodish.
Yeah, sure.
What up? Hot as hell. Well, of course it's hot as hell. But love them to death. So after they die, you don't love them no more.
Well, you love them so much that they die. I don't,
No.
Yeah,
love them to life. I'm a lover to life.
You know what? I like that change of thinking. I do. I like that change of thinking. Love
we
them
spent
life.
2 hours talking about all these stuff that didn't make sense while we was getting paid.
Oh, well.
Searching tobacco. We had to search these belts where we pull the trash out and all that stuff.
Oh, so you were part of the 10 people who taking the 2 hour lunch, huh?
No. We were working. You stand by a belt and this tobacco keeps going by, you had to do something. So you sit there and you conversations, picking trash out. So you don't smoke wood. That's all I can say about that. I'm on confidentiality, one of those things.
I'll leave it at that. Well, Jimmy, we're getting close to the end of the show here, and
we just started.
I know I feel like it too, but unfortunately, I have to be somewhere at 3. So
it's all about you again.
Well,
go ahead, we can do it. We ain't got nowhere to go.
Oh man,
we're running our own show.
I mean, Justin, man, he's more than capable to keep going, man.
We're talking.
But well, hey, y'all, if y'all want to sit here and keep talking, I'll head out. But
your sister.
I will give it to my sister, but I do want to give you the opportunity, before I either walk out or before you guys continue to have the last word here. So, a lifetime Virginian, Army veteran, and a grandfather. I love that.
Friends of Jimmy Brooks.
Yeah. Look
Facebook,
at you in a jacket.
Twitter. I know they made me dress up for that.
Who put you in a jacket? You look good. You look
Yvonne,
good.
who runs richmondvideo.com, made me dress up. Him and Lauren that did got the photo shoot.
What kind of plane is that?
That's a weeping willow.
Oh, okay.
Because over at Dory Park.
Oh, it's a weeping. Okay, because
it's not Reefa.
That's what I was gonna think, right?
Yeah.
Look at you here, and this is really nicely done too. Well done.
Oh, I got more of those, man. I could flood you with them.
Well, so anyway, do you want to say anything here to cruise out?
Yes, we need funds. We need TV time. Jimmy Brooks VA.com. Make a donation. Tell your friends. Get that word out. We can make some changes then in the General Assembly. Or I need your help.
Yeah, especially since you said you're not taking any corporate funding, so this is all grassroots funded. Small business.
Out of state. My opponent got $124,000 from out of state.
Wow.
I've got $600, $500 from my cousin in South Carolina, and $100 from my friend is the town manager of Manio.
You got a friend who's town manager of Manio?
That's right.
Oh, I got tattoo work I need to get done, and that's where my dad got his last down in Manio.
Well, go to Manio, go to the town council there, ask for Kermit, he'll hook you up.
Okay.
Kermit's a good old boy from up. He lived in Richmond and went to RPI. Did I just tell his age? Yeah, which is now VCU.
I don't know. Yeah.
Got a degree in town management, and he's been town manager for I know for 30 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, cool dude.
No kidding. Man, I appreciate you being on the show today. It's good to talk
fun.
And catch up with you. And
I did my second podcast, man. I'm getting good at this stuff.
We just sit around, talk,
shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit. You can say shit.
Oh, you can.
On this one, we can. We try to avoid the F word.
Yeah.
But
I just heard of after the Delta, there's Mu, And there's an FU one coming. I saw that this morning.
I saw the Mew, but oh, ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's coming for all of us. So anyway, I want to say, hey, thank you, Jimmy, again for being here. Thank you to everybody who's listening. Thank you, Justin, for being here. I was looking. I thought you sent me a message or something, Justin. Tomorrow we've got Laura Mae Lucas on the show, and Justin's going to be coming out from behind the desk, and he's actually, I know, right?
Well, I'll still be back behind the desk. You'll just have a camera on me, so you'll be able to actually see my face.
Okay. Because the inquiring minds want to know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Justin will be behind the desk with a camera on his face, and he'll be interviewing this amazing nutritionist and bodybuilder, Laura Mae Lucas, who's going to come in and share. Well, she's going to come in remotely to share her recovery journey as well as her next business venture. So thank you all. I will see you all next week. Thank you again to Jimmy, man. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Be safe and stay healthy.
And early voting starts
September 17th. You have to go down to the east one, which is on 9 Mile Road, or the main one down at Pam Road, the registrar's office.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Don't vote party, vote candidate, and go Army.
Man, that might have just lost my vote there.
I don't.
Navy. No. All right. Thank you all again very much. Have a good day.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
Any place.